All right, welcome to the Overheard podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Dan Rudel. With me always my co-host.
We got Matty Rage in the house. Let's go.
What is up? Our guest this week is Cole. Welcome to the show, Cole. What's popping?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, just trying to make my way in the world.
Great to see you, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good. It's good to be here.
How's everyone's week?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole ski drawing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it was super busy. A lot of people at work.
That was like summer busy, man. It was wild. Like, dude, that sub was so loud you could hear it in the restaurant, like in the kitchen.
It was insane.
It was wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Ski juring, for those that don't know, is a type of skiing and snowboarding where they're being pulled by horses.
It's wild. Like they're going full tilt though, man. Like
they also do races and stuff
hucking.
too. Pretty crazy stuff going on this week. Did you like play any shows, or you were just spectating all these events? Or what?
Yeah, no, just spectating the events. I did have a little staff event that I got to play for, which I got paid for as well, which was great.
Sick.
nice.
Yeah. When the company pays for you to do something aside from your job, it was huge. Yeah, so that was really cool. That was the first one of the season. So,
That's sick.
but no, I was just watching the ski drawing, but I didn't stay for too long because it was brutally cold.
It was so cold.
Oh yeah, I
Crazy
forgot.
cold.
But
Yeah.
you know, people standing on roofs and straddling things, and I'm looking up and like, you guys must be freezing up there.
I could not imagine the amount of fur that was around.
I know,
like,
right?
everyone
good.
wearing fur. It
So,
was crazy.
We
Yeah,
saw
like,
this.
great outfit.
We saw this girl. She had like probably like a $7,000 coat on.
Insane.
With like a $30 backpack on top of it, just like rubbing it, and just like wearing it out. I'm like, oh man, that's how you set it off.
I think it's just like one of those events of like, where else are you going to wear it? It's
Well,
such,
yeah.
such an Alberta thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to dive in a little bit about you, Cole? I got a little bit of bio that I wanted to read for our guests out there. For those that might not know, Cole is 31, originally from Waiheke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice. In an island in New Zealand, about 40-minute boat ride from Auckland. Comes from a musical family. Both granddads on each side of the family were professional musicians, and one of them still is.
Sick.
That's wild. We'll dive into that in a little bit. Traveling the world since 19, lived in multiple countries, now planning on making Canada his home.
Hopefully.
Second time living in Banff. And kind of what sparked my interest to get you on the show was like, you won the Tommy's Unplugged. Congratulations on
Thank
that,
you.
by the way.
Oh,
But I was
very
like,
much.
oh,
let's
like,
go.
Thank you.
Cole's back in town. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Let's
back
go.
in town, won the Tommy's Unplugged. So I figured we'd have you in to talk a little bit about it, man.
Cool. Yeah. No, it was a really fun experience. This is the second time that I've competed. Previously, it was strictly original music.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was a lot of fun. But original music has never been my my forte. Get me to create music, I'm good. Get me to write a song, and I just want to curl up into a ball and
Fair.
disappear kind of a bit.
Crazy,
but
right?
this time round, obviously I wasn't sure if I was going to participate or not, but my fiance Meg, she was like, "No, you should go and just do it."
Yeah.
See what happens. And obviously, good reception, and it kept going. It kept managing to make it through to the next stage.
Sick.
Yeah, no, it was not what I expected because there was a lot of really, really good
No doubt.
talent there.
No
For
doubt.
sure. There's tons of great acts.
Yeah,
in
so I
there.
did not expect, to win at all.
You
Yeah,
just had the crowd. You just had like the right vibe for the crowd, I guess.
yeah,
like,
exactly. And
Because that's how
and-
they do it, right? It's all based off like crowd reaction. I
yeah,
guess,
well, there's a
is-
few different criteria that they judge it on. A lot of it is the song structure, how well you perform, how well your stage presence as
Nice, yeah.
and your reaction with the crowd, how well the lyrics are written as well.
So it's
if-
all original stuff?
It's
Is
all,
what-
yeah,
Yeah, sweet.
yeah. But
Right
this
on.
time round, they allowed people to do covers.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it was it was a controversial decision.
So do you just kind of mix it up with a little bit of both then, or?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I've got one original that I haven't recorded or anything, but that I've finished writing my
Cool.
own song
Cool.
that I'm kind of happy with. And I did do it for the performance, and it had a good reception as well.
Well, I was
cool.
trying to.
That's always good. That's always a good sign. Then. That's always a good sign. Yeah,
because I hate performing the song, and I just like, oh, you know what? The only way to get over this is just to do it.
Yeah,
you just got to do it and keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like I did with just playing covers. At the beginning it was the nerves were there, and but then it's just like, oh, okay, this is a breeze now, and it's the same with doing original music as well.
I mean, original music's just so like it's opening you up so much more to the crowd.
It really is.
Like I can understand the difference between the two.
Especially if no one's enjoying the song, you're just there playing it, and people are just talking over you, and you're just like, this is awkward and weird now. But thankfully that did not happen. Because
I was doing some research on I found a Spotify. But unfortunately there was no originals on it.
No,
just a bunch of like
there's one song on there that I recorded last time I was here in Banff.
Nice.
And it's not my song, it was somebody else's, and they'd wanted me to sing on it.
Okay,
and it was
nice.
a very like Avicii, Swedish House Mafia dance style song.
That's cool.
Completely out of my comfort zone. It's not what I do with music at all. And it's I'm two minds about it. I'm happy that I've got something out there, but looking back at it now and knowing where I am at music now, I'd wish I'd done it differently.
Yeah, fair.
But it's there. It's out
there,
now.
hey,
It's what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So hopefully there's more. I know when I was playing with Bow Valley Bandits as well. Jacob. We recorded an album in Calgary under the label of Bow Valley Bandits as well, which is again not attached to me because it was a completely separate project. It was all Jacob's music as well, and I just helped contribute to that, so to speak.
Right on.
But yeah, no, Tommy's was a complete surprise. Obviously, I did something right. I had the right lineup of songs, and
I've heard you play it like years ago, and you were phenomenal then. So I can only imagine in the last few years since we've seen each other, you've only gotten better over time. So
well,
that's awesome.
I've put a lot of time into it. So yeah, I like to think people have told me this since I've been back. They're like, "Well, especially my singing." Like when I started music, it was always just guitar playing, and eventually, as I progressed, it was the guitar levels kind of stayed here, but my singing had advanced a lot. And now I'm a good guitar player, and I play lots of other instruments, but I know where my skill is in singing right now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome to know where your strengths lie, and be able to lean into those for sure. That's
never thought I'd be a singer. Never thought like singing would be like the thing that I always wanted to be like a lead guitarist, And But it's a
little ripper.
Yeah, it's interesting how things change.
I'll show you what's in the case over there later.
Oh,
you'll love it. You'll love
cool,
it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
What made you want to come to Canada? Like, why here? Like, how did you end up here?
Well, Canada had always been on the cards.
Cool.
I'd been doing winter season since I was little.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so always been around the snow. And Dad used to be in the Air Force, and he had traveled a little bit around the world. And other family members had traveled as well. And so Canada had always been one of my top places to go to, and I eventually came here in 2018 with an ex-girlfriend at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
you guys were exes at the time and came over here.
No, we were together, but she is now an ex-girlfriend.
I was going to say, that's an odd person to pick to travel with the ex.
Yeah, it was a relationship of circumstance. But obviously, it fell apart while we were in Vancouver, and life's breaking down. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Do I go home? Do I stay? Yada, yada. And then I sent a message out on Facebook. I found a chat, Kiwis in Vancouver, and I messaged up, and some dude was like, yeah, bro, I got a couch. Come and crash.
Sick.
And I sort my life out and figure out what I want to do. And so I did that, and then jumped on a train, came to Banff, and I got stuck here.
By choice or?
By choice, yeah, because I had a Via Rail pass that let me take the train across
Nice.
Canada for the
That's
summer.
sick. That's
yeah,
sick.
it was. So I was going to just stop here for a little bit and then carry on through to the East Coast.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got off in Jasper, came down, hitchhiked down to Banff, and then I got stuck here.
That's
amazing
sweet.
people, amazing location, good vibes, and
there's worse places to be stuck.
For sure.
exactly.
Way worse places.
Banff is a crossroads of people of like extraordinary circumstance that all kind of end up at the same place at the same time. You know what I mean?
100%. So it's very like similar to a place back home called Queenstown
For sure.
as well. If you're,
Super
I'm sure
touristy,
You're not the first person to say that. Like Sid on his
when
episode.
I first got into Banff, it felt like I was walking back in time. It was, it was interesting. And again, so crazy situation. So first Friday that I was in Banff, and it was Bruno's, and it was open mic night.
Oh, cool, yeah. I miss those, man. That was
I walk in, and as a buddy of mine playing on stage, I hadn't seen him in about 4 or 5 years, and he used to be a regular attendee at the open mic that we hosted in Queenstown.
Nice.
And he got me my first gig in town at the Juniper.
Sick.
And that just started the ball rolling from there. Yeah,
that's wild. So, like, what keeps you coming back then? Because you said obviously you've been other places in between. If you care to elaborate on that.
Yeah, well, I think this place when I got here, I formed very strong bonds with people, and I managed to develop myself as a person, as a musician. And I also got to meet the love of my life here, and we're getting married now next year.
Nice.
And
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I think we were living together when you guys met.
Yes.
I think that was some crazy.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. She would regularly come over.
Crazy.
Yeah, but she was only here for about 3 months, and then her visa ran out, and she had to go home. And we were figuring, is this a summer fling? Is this just what's this going to be? And I was halfway through my visa, and so I wasn't at that stage gonna sacrifice that on not knowing what this was. And
smart.
And so I stayed behind, which was the best decision because again I made amazing groups of friends. I could be quite established with music in this town. I was getting regular performances, and I was feeling this is a safe place. And then COVID happened, and it's I was
now what?
But again, I had people going. My dad wanted me to come home, and we had a big falling out over it, unfortunately. But I was in a stable job. We were here in Banff. Banff was pretty much shut down. Nothing was going on.
Yeah, it was wild.
You could pretty much tell if someone was an out of towner, and they kind of got shunned a little bit because no one wanted to deal with anybody else from outside of Banff.
It was just crazy that you could go downtown and literally the only people that you saw, you knew that you knew them.
Yeah, it was sick.
Like even if you're walking, you see someone 100 yards up, you're like, I bet you that's Buddy.
Yeah,
you get out there and it's Buddy. It's
for as scary as a time as it was, Banff was such a cool place to be because if you went outside anytime after dinner time, you wouldn't see a single person.
That's what I mean. It's wild.
It's like nature really took it back over. It was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it was a very interesting experience, and I had a stable job during that time. So in my eyes, I thought I've still got at least 8 months on my visa. There's no point in me going home. People's flights were getting cancelled left, right, and centre, and I love this place. And so I stuck it out until August, and then I went to the UK because I decided, no, we're going to make this relationship work.
Nice.
We got her a visa for New Zealand, and then we went traveling around New Zealand for 2 years. We went and did about 4 months in the States.
Wow.
And then did the last year in Japan before
sick.
coming back
That'd
here
be awesome.
because we had still a lot of friends, ties to the community, and we knew we'd be able to get jobs and this would be the best starting place for us. If we're going to be able to live in Canada, this is going to be the easiest spot for us to make a beginning because we already know how everything works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and now I've got a great job at a management level, and I'm happy with life. We've got a great house with our own room. We don't have to share a bathroom, which is huge. That's the biggest win in my book. Yeah, we got our own private ensuite, which is just unreal. So we've cracked it.
Well, congrats.
Yeah,
man. That's
we're
awesome.
really happy
That's
to be
great
here.
to hear.
And there's still like really, really good friends still here because we
Yeah.
were a little bit worried that because town has changed a little bit from when we were here.
Especially COVID. It's
Yeah.
it's like, especially the late night crowds, like from what I got, I don't know, I don't really go out much anymore, but like the late night crowds aren't super what they used to be before. Like any night of the week you could find a happening place. Whereas now it's a little bit quiet. I feel like COVID kind of forced people into the house parties or into like,
Yeah.
indulging at home. If that's it, it's a little bit, safer.
Well,
a
and
little
like
bit
it's
easier.
just pretty expensive right now.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculously
Just to-
expensive.
to live here is just wild.
Just the economy of this town in general, because so like I don't remember ever being this difficult to get work or get a house in this town. I've got a bunch of buddies that we worked with last season and we in Japan, and we hyped up Banff. Like, you got to come to Banff. This will be great. You'll find like you'll just fit right in.
You just got to get there. Yeah.
It's been like almost 2 months for some, almost 3 for others, and no one can find a job. Qualified
Crazy.
people, and it's just obviously like talking to other friends who work in management and hiring positions. They're just inundated with hundreds of CVs, and it's easy to just get lost in the pile of people that want to be here.
Well, we talked about it on a previous episode with Caleb Pierce, and it was revenge tourism was a concept that he brought to the show that I had never heard of.
Revenge tourism.
Revenge tourism. So it's like everyone gets this like built up need to travel that's inside of them, and then now that the floodgates are open, you can kind of travel. Economy's kind of back-ish. People are like traveling out of spite, where like they'll travel on credit or put themselves in a bad financial situation just because they haven't been able to travel.
Or they don't know when the next time they might have to not be restricted that travel again.
So I think that's kind of a big part of it, of like people trying to flood here and work here and live here. But I didn't realize it was that difficult to obtain. Well, housing is always kind of the
It's always been
jobs,
an issue. But the job front was quite surprising.
Jobs always seem to be kind of flying
like
around.
even for me, it took me about at least a month to find a job, and the only way I did was because the person who hired me was a longtime friend from New Zealand.
Okay, cool.
And I hadn't seen her in 9 years, and I just happened to walk into her at Tommy's because that's what happens in this town. And hired like that. I didn't have to go through the hiring department at all. It was a direct hire.
So sick.
Which was again how yes and no for how well that works in this town, because like it happens with housing as well.
It's pretty much how I've gotten every job
it's all
in town,
word of mouth. It's all who you know. And it's beneficial and detrimental at the same time,
For sure. I think like you kind of get your foot in with like a more corporate job, like maybe with a ski hill or something, and then kind of as you branch out into the community and get to know people, you kind of upgrade your housing, you upgrade your job, you kind of upgrade your contacts. You kind of make it work for yourself. Right on. How would you describe your style of music for those maybe that haven't seen you before?
I like to think of myself as a jack of all trades when it comes to music. Yeah, like I love to play classic rock, like 60s and 70s. Whereas I love to sing like Motown, soul, and R&B.
Oh, that's sick.
That's what I love to sing, because I feel like I can really push myself to get the most out of my vocals,
So you like using a range in your vocals.
I really do. But I'll happily play like Bullet for My Valentine or Rage Against the Machine to
Some Bullet.
Taylor Swift or something a bit more modern. I don't mind what I play. I always cater to the crowd.
Right.
But if you class my style, classic rock and soul.
Classic rock
Soul
and
more
soul.
than anything. I just love to sing soul.
You have a pretty soulful character. I'll give you that.
Thank
man.
you.
Like,
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
definitely that would be one way to classify you, for sure.
I can feel that.
Well, Dan mentioned in the intro that you had 2 great grandfathers that were in the music industry. Tell us a little bit about that, and like how you got into music, and if so, like when did you start performing or playing, or you said you wanted to be a little shredder?
Yeah, so I got my first. So both my grandfathers.
Cool.
So father on my dad's side and grandfather on my mother's side.
Cool.
One was definitely more of a jazz musician.
Nice.
And actually they both were more jazz musicians, but one of them was definitely, I feel like, more stereotypical rock and roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Both very talented. But I got my first guitar when I was 5. And then I'd taken guitar lessons from primary school all the way to high school.
Yeah, nice.
And again, with family members that played music well. I had a cousin who was an amazing piano player,
Cool.
and a dancer as well.
my
He did
mom.
professional ballroom dancing and stuff.
Nice.
And then my mother played piano and the flute. My
Sick.
dad had played a little bit of guitar, and I'm pretty sure he played a little bit of trumpet as well, but
Wow.
he didn't pursue those.
Yeah, just as like a kind of
Just as a kind of
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, grandparents regularly played musician for lots of their life, and yeah, one of them still does. He's a bit old now, and I think he's had some accidents to his hand, so he can't move his fingers as well as he used to.
Oh,
but
darn.
I'm pretty sure he still plays.
nice.
Excuse me. But they've been a huge influence as well. And I started performing when would have been, I think, 11, 12, because we have intermediate school in New Zealand, which might be like a middle school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so after you finish primary school, you'll go to an intermediate for like 2 years
Oh,
before
like
you go to high
grade
school.
7
We
and
used
8,
to have that,
Yeah,
like
right.
in grade 7 and 8.
Yeah.
It was anarchy. It was,
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
had that where I grew up.
I
It
was the
always
last
just
year
1
in
to
my
8.
area to
Wow.
do the grade 7 and 8. And it was the same
Right.
like intermediate. You went to another school before you went into high school.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's hitting puberty at the same time. It's only
Yeah.
2 grades, and it's
Yeah.
like the bullying is heavy because
Yeah.
it's only 2 grades. It's like you're the older kid or you're the younger kid.
Yeah,
You know, It's like,
exactly.
it was,
Oh, that's
it was
wild.
a
Yeah.
wild time for sure.
It was.
Then they slowly integrated those into the high schools, which now I think they're still separate. Like usually where I'm from, at least, like the 7 and 8s will still kind of have their own area, but they're like in a larger part of the high school.
Right.
But before that, it was crazy.
That's wild.
Had like locker. Oh man, we're joking about this like with my buddies back home about like putting Visine in our eyes at the lockers in like grade 7 and stuff. Like just getting
yeah,
up to
just-
wild.
That's
like,
funny.
Yeah.
Oh
Anyways,
my god.
But yeah, I was in a Green Day cover band, and that was my first performing at that
Nice.
age during that middle kind of school era.
That's sick.
Yeah, and from that moment on, I knew it was like, all right, I'm good at music. I want to keep doing this, and that obviously carried through into high school and some high school bands. And actually, we won a competition where there was quite a famous New Zealand alternate rock band.
Cool.
And they were going around schools getting school bands to perform, and if you won, you got to go to a really top recording studio in New Zealand and
Sweet.
record that song.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
we got to do that as well. But then I hit 16 and I dropped out of high school, and I found other things that caught my attention more than music did, and I
Fair.
stopped playing pretty much for a good 3-4 years.
Crazy.
Until I moved to Queenstown, and I rediscovered that I know how to play music. Went to some open mic
yeah.
nights, and then I tried busking on the street, and I made like $70 in like 2 hours, and I was like,
Wild.
sweet, this is great, I'm gonna quit my job.
That's sick.
And then winter came, and then
Not a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah.
I was busking is a 50-50. You can go out and spend 3 hours and make $5, or you can go out and you can make $200. You know,
Yeah.
it's you never know what you're going to get when you're
crazy.
busking.
bit of a roll of the dice.
It really is. It really is. But again, that kick-started my career with music again. I was realizing, wow, I do remember how to do this. I'm actually pretty good at it.
Might as
And
well.
yeah, started picking up gigs, and
Sick.
and that rest is history.
That's
It's
awesome.
been carrying on since. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Question. This is a good one. Dan, you must have come up with this one.
What's that?
If you had to check your Spotify, which song do you think would have the all-time highest plays? If you had to like pick one.
Probably it'll be the Beatles.
Oh, okay.
Beatles guy. All right.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be In My Life, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? That's actually a good one.
Mine varies. I think it varies from year to year. I don't think one song. I don't know. I couldn't tell you just one.
You
Like
know?
all time,
Yeah, like what's
probably like
it's gonna be something weird.
I don't know. I want to say like it depends what genre, because it depends on like
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
throughout your life you go through so many different genres of music, and even
Mhm.
now like I feel like they're all kind of coming together. Like I'm enjoying all types of music that I listen through my whole life now.
Yeah.
Whereas like maybe when I was a teenager, I listened to more like punk or heavy metal. I really don't listen to punk very much anymore at
Yeah,
all.
good point.
It's kind of like out of my.
It's like I'm an EDM guy
digestibility.
now, and I'm gonna be 40, and I'm just getting into EDM.
That's what I mean, right? So it kind of
Yeah.
like I guess that's kind of a loaded question. Currently, it's probably an Afro Man song.
Oh, yeah.
How did I know? How did I know?
Yeah, live in a van.
Oh
Live
yeah.
in a van. Yeah, that's a pretty dope song. I've been listening to
That's
that one a
funny as
lot
hell.
lately. What
Oh
about
my
you?
God. I'd have to be Nine Inch Nails something.
Nine Inch Nails cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
cool.
by Nine Inch
Yeah.
Nails for sure.
My cousin turned me on to them like when I was really young, and I thought it was
Oh,
so
yeah.
strange. But then again, I rediscovered them later in life.
Same.
Wow, this is like some really classic stuff. Excuse me. I know you mentioned earlier you don't really write much music. One of my questions was what your creative process looked like. And I kind of wanted to ask you that because I remember when we lived together in the summertime, I've never seen anyone do this before, but you'd like cook yourself a big breakfast,
Mhm.
sit on the porch with like your guitar and like a joint and do like all three at the same time. And I was like, I'd never seen that before. And I thought it was so interesting. Like,
Awesome.
I would like smoke and then chill and then eat, but like you just had everything all jamming,
Yeah.
kind of playing riffs and then a little bite, a little puff. I thought it was super interesting. Is that part of your creative process, or is that just kind of like how would you go about learning a new cover? Or
I feel like it depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Quite often I feel like I might be in a rush for something, so I'm trying to cram it all together and sometimes that feels like a bit more of a comfort that I can kind of get everything done at once because I have quite a short attention span.
I just thought it was
so,
like
you
I
know,
thought it was cool. I was
That's
like, I've
awesome.
never seen anyone eat breakfast like this before. I thought it was the coolest thing, but I never
It's
told
like
you that.
sometimes that the breakfast, I might just I'll set it out already and I'll completely forget about it because I'm focusing on the other things that I'm
Okay,
doing. I'll
fair.
come back to it and it's like, oh, I don't really want this anymore. Or yeah, it'll be the first thing I get and I'm just sitting there eating away, smoking, and then come back to play. Or sometimes, especially if I'm learning a new song, I think 80% of the time I'm learning the song half an hour before I'm going to play it.
Wild.
Yeah, because I
don't know if I chanced that one.
I very rarely spend time to myself just playing or practicing. Most of my practice comes from
Just
performing.
playing, yeah. Crazy.
And if it's a song that I already know, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to nail it within at least a couple of hours. I'm going to
So-
be able to get the roots of it
Yeah,
out
yeah.
that I can sing and play it and perform it till at least it sounds good. You know, it
Nice.
might not be 100%, but
Yeah.
I can wing it. And
That's so awesome.
crowd's not going to know. As long as you nail
So
the
you nail it.
chorus,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as long
chorus
as
is
you
all
nail it.
you need. You can make up words, you can mumble, you
Oh,
can do
yeah.
whatever. People do not care. Yeah.
Oh, it's true, dude. Like
so
I've
good.
played like some of the like what I thought were like the worst sets I've ever played, and just like, oh my god, I botched like half of that shit. Like, what the hell did I just do? And then somebody's like, dude, that was the sickest set you guys have
Yeah, I know,
ever
right?
played,
It's like,
man.
oh, really?
That was wild, dude. You guys killed it. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Thanks, bro. Nobody heard any of that. That's awesome. Great.
Well,
Like,
I kind of can resonate with that a little too. Like since we started the show, I feel when we first started, every little stumble I felt was like such a huge.
oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man, like I really fucked up. But then now it doesn't bother me as bad. You realize that like in your mind it's such a huge fumble,
Yeah.
but the audience doesn't really.
No.
They don't really pick up
Yeah,
on
it's
it as
like
much.
it's the
so.
saying, you're always your own worst critic, and it is so true.
That's
It
so
is
good.
100%
time.
true.
How many songs do you think you know, like off the top of your head? Like
my
if someone was
God.
like, "Can you play us a gig tonight?" How many songs do you think you could bring to the
I've
table? Would
easily
you
got at least 5 hours worth of material.
crazy?
I
5
like,
hours.
Yeah, that's scraping the barrel.
yeah.
But if I had my phone with me,
Uh-huh.
and so I could access Ultimate Guitar, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah. Dab it out or
refresh
whatever.
refresh
Yeah,
because
you've seen a chart. of some
yeah,
kind,
because the music that's stuck in there, it's all there,
yeah.
and it normally just takes a trigger to bring
Yeah.
it back.
Like a lot of guys.
So sick.
You wouldn't believe the amount of guys that like gig like that, and they just have charts. and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just your fucking chords for your verse, chords for your chorus,
Yeah,
and like your bridge chords,
And you just
it
kind of know the rhythm.
Yeah,
and-
it just gives you the list of like there's E minor,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
Well,
I've played
it's like-
guitar before. I
I'm
kinda
starting
the
to
gist of
get
it.
to the point now when I learn a new song, like it pushes a few old ones out, and then I'll
Right,
realize it's like I hear it on the radio, and it's like,
Oh, yeah, I remember how to play
shit
that,
all
yeah.
the time. Why
Yeah.
did I do that? that anymore because taste change and you find new music that's I really want to play that
It's
one.
the
and
same. Like I was trying to think of when I started guitar. I
don't
think it
carry
was
a list.
like
Do you guys
I
like
think it was
play
like
it?
95, 96 I started guitar. So I've
Right,
been playing
okay.
for like 30 fucking years. It's like,
Yeah.
you know how many songs I've learned in 30 years?
Yeah,
And I just
exactly.
That's what I
even
mean.
my own material, like in bands that I wrote all the material for, I'm just like, I don't remember how that song goes. I don't can fucking play that Save My Life. I don't know, man. Like, I don't even remember writing that at all. It
That's
was like
gotta
20
be
years
like-
ago. Yeah.
like some different compartment of memory because like you don't ever have it. I was reading Rick Rubin's book and it's like artists have this where it's like it's there, like you said, like you need to just find that like that trigger or that route to find it again.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a cool like skill to have. Not everyone has the ability to do that, right?
No doubt.
The fact that you can just kind of like pull up a visual cue
Like-
and you're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And just jump into it. That's pretty impressive for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Like you just, I don't know what it is. You just, your brain is like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. Oh yeah, what hands that part go? And there we go. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh cool, I can play it again after not playing it for 20 years. Like it's just wild, man. It's just like you know how it goes. You've
Yeah.
been playing guitar your whole life, so just like weird shit pops back in your head.
It's
or
like
you,
it's like muscle memory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
It
big
is,
time it
yeah,
is.
you know,
100%.
but
yeah,
like long term muscle memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You never really forget.
No.
How long does it take you to
Mhm.
like learn a song and have it be part of that memory bank? Like, do you learn it once and you kind of got it, or do you have to hammer it in there 50
I think
times,
that comes
100
from,
times?
I think that comes from repetition.
Yeah, it
Like,
comes from
yeah.
repetition. Yeah. Like if it's a song that I already know quite well,
Mhm.
then it's going to already stick with me a bit better because I've
Yeah.
already got this attachment, this relationship with that song.
Fair.
If it's something that someone's asked me to learn or something that I might not be so comfortable with, or it's a bit more of a difficult song,
Yeah.
I'll need to regularly play it for it to
To come
stick.
out the way you want.
Yeah, to come out the way that I want and have it stick in there.
Cool.
Because I don't have a list. I don't have a song
Yeah, I know,
order.
yeah,
I
you-
just pick. I look at the crowd and I'm like, all right, I'll play a couple of random little things and just think about what I'm going to play next. You know,
That's so good.
yeah, or I'll just ramble. I've been trying to really practice my banter and interaction with the crowd.
Right.
Well, there's
'Cause it's
almost a
always
bit of,
been a
like-
struggle for
Yeah.
that for me.
There's almost a bit of an improv element to what
Yes.
you're doing.
Yeah,
in that
100%.
sense, like-
Normally I'll be there and I'm like, hi, I'm Cole. I'm going to play some music. Please, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. And then I just play. And that's always been my thing where I've really been trying. Just like, okay, how are we doing tonight, guys? Trying to make a joke, trying to involve the crowd a little bit more, get them to try and sing something as a
Goes a long
back and
ways,
forth.
man.
It does.
Oh yeah, big time.
It really
Just
does.
Little stuff like that, just to
Yeah.
like make the crowd feel like they're part of the show, not just there to see a show, is like massive for some people. They're
think-
like, oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Like, buddy gave me a shout out. Like,
I
Yeah.
think it would do huge at keeping the crowd's attention, right?
Yes.
oh,
Like,
big time.
Yeah,
Like,
because
not
it's
engaged,
always
right?
it always is a battle to keep the crowd's attention. You play one wrong song and you've lost everybody sometimes,
Right.
and then it's a real struggle to gain that back. Or you spend, you've meant to have a 15-minute break and you're gone for half an hour, and then everyone's like, "Oh, the music stopped." And
They're
you know
gone, yeah.
they're gone. And it's really hard. You gotta really work to keep that attention
For sure.
all the time. Keep that hype up. Keep that energy up.
Because that's what
Yeah.
people want. They're in a
Yeah.
room enjoying adult beverages for
Yeah.
a reason, not to be lulled to sleep. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, they wanna get something out of that music. They wanna feel some emotion, some form of attachment, some connection.
100%.
Yeah.
Big
A
time.
little banter goes a long way.
Yeah, it
huh?
does.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna switch things up a little bit here, Cole. For those out there listening, this will be a little bit of a sensitive topic. When I was doing my research, I saw a post that you posted about having a recent surgery to resolve a cancer that you were diagnosed
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's pretty
It
easy.
was pretty
I
wild.
just I thought the same thing when I was kind of researching. I saw this post. That's kind of what I do. I go through people's social media and
Mhm.
kind of see check all their links out and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, like something we definitely want to talk about.
Yep.
How was the cancer process for you? How did that play out?
Well, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
It was caught early,
Mhm.
and it was thankfully caught in the UK with the NHS. So their health system, when it comes to cancer, they really didn't fuck around with it.
Yeah, cool.
It
Nice.
took from my moment of first diagnosis, it was about 1 month, just under a month, and I was in recovery from surgery.
Wild.
Yeah,
They move
unreal.
quick.
That's quick action.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was huge. I didn't even really have time to think about the fact that I had cancer because it was diagnosis, then ultrasound, another ultrasound, and then it's like, okay, this is what you've got. We're booking you in for surgery. Come back next week. You're in. Done.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you realize? How did you diagnose yourself? Did you go to the?
So I'd noticed that. So I'd had a cyst on one of my testicles for many years. I'd had it looked at previously and was told that it was just a cyst, but it's not an issue. You get cysts all over your body.
Yeah.
I've got one on my back. As long as it doesn't grow or move, you normally feel it as like quite a solid lump, almost like there's something underneath it, but you can move it around. It doesn't, unless it's impacted. Sometimes they can be in a spot where it impacts on a nerve
or causes pain
or a vein
or
or causes pain, restricts some blood flow. But most of the time, they're not an issue.
Crazy.
And one day last year, in about October, or was it September, I'd noticed that one of the testicles had swollen and it was quite sore. And I was like, this is not normal.
That's weird.
No.
But I didn't think much about it because it just happened the once. And then a couple of weeks later, it had happened again. And it's like, okay, there's something's not right here. And again, I wasn't going to do anything about it because most of the time stuff like that just goes away.
Yeah.
Didn't think twice. But then my fiance, she was like, no, you need to go and get someone to look at this because this is not normal. And so I was like, oh, right. Because I really didn't want to do it because, again, I don't know, it feels...
For sure, it's weird. As a man, I think like going to see someone to look at your junk is like something that's probably low on your priority list.
Exactly.
And we already will not go to the hospital, even if, like, I've done it before. It's like, I should probably got stitches for that.
No
or, like,
one
that might
wants
be
to go to the
broken,
hospital.
like, whatever. It's like, we just won't.
Especially if you're in a country, if you're in a country that healthcare is a problem.
Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely.
As well. So she got me to go and get it checked out, and they did. And they said, we've found something. We're not sure what it is. We're going to have to get a professional to come in and take a look. We think it's this, but we need to get an oncologist to come in and have a look as well.
Yeah.
And they did. And there's like, yes, it was malignant tumor. I can't remember the kind of tumor it was because there are a few different kinds as well that you can get. And so then they informed me, well, the easiest way for us to get rid of this is, even though we don't know what it is, we're just going to remove it. You don't need 2 testicles. No. It doesn't impact anything, although there can be the chance of a lower fertility count. So they got me to go to a sperm bank and donate.
Just due to like
and
sheer
do that
numbers,
I've got I've got
That's
safety
cool.
just in case I did want the option of kids.
Cool.
Kids aren't on the cards for me or my fiance, but that might change.
Yeah,
You never know.
knows? True.
Exactly. And this is not to say that it will lower your fertility. They just do it as a precaution, just in case.
That's fucking sweet though that they do that. I had no idea that was even
technology's
a thing.
gone leaps and bounds now.
Oh, man,
like,
that's wild.
Yeah, they do it for women as well. If they're doing those types of procedures on women, they'll like freeze a bunch of the eggs so they can return to them. Like, it's very common
and it was
now.
again completely covered under the NHS healthcare system, which
Even
was
as
really
not
cool.
a citizen, like,
I
guess
I'm an Irish citizen.
Okay.
So I got my Irish passport so I could come to Canada for my second working holiday. So I'm an Irish citizen, which gives me EU access, but also UK access because of Northern Ireland.
Okay, awesome.
That was huge. And they said, we're just going to remove it because that's the easiest way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And they did the biopsy on it after they removed it. And it's like, yes, it was what we thought it was.
Crazy.
It hadn't spread anywhere else in my body.
Thank Christ.
The main problem is when a cancer spreads to your lymph nodes.
Right.
And then it gets around everywhere in your body.
Yeah.
Thankfully it was contained. I caught it early. It was contained in the one spot. And the reason why I hadn't seen it before was because the cyst was hiding it.
Oh, wild.
Because it was growing next to, it was on the same
God.
testicle and it was growing next to the cyst. So, and it was a lot smaller. So I wouldn't have noticed it.
Anyways,
I
I
only noticed it when something had happened. And funnily enough, since speaking out about it, I've had one friend come to me with a similar concern.
Oh, okay, crazy.
And he probably wouldn't have if
Yeah, no doubt.
For sure.
No
yeah.
doubt.
And again, maybe 2 weeks before, when I told my father that I'd had cancer, that I'd gotten this cancer,
Yeah.
coincidentally enough, his wife was his new wife, my stepmom. This is a whole new concept to me as well.
Yeah, I'm going
They
through the
just got
same
married
thing, dude.
this year
It's
as
crazy.
well.
Oh,
So
God.
it's
Yeah.
really is. So
Whole new
she's my
process.
stepmother now, really.
Nice.
But her son is currently going through a similar problem
Okay.
Oh, crazy.
as well. So it was really surprising that in such a short amount of time, 3 different people
No
within
doubt.
my close
That's
circle
crazy.
has all
yeah.
the same age. So the prime age is from 20 to 30 years old, and most diagnoses don't come through until people are in their 30s, because it's when it gets to a problem stage.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
they
wow.
haven't looked at it for the last 10 years.
That's wild.
Or something comes up and they're just like, oh, it's nothing.
Or they've been ignoring
Or
it.
they've been ignoring it.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. It's not something to be embarrassed or ashamed of.
Nah, no doubt.
Yeah, it happens to everyone at any age, and it's so much better just to you don't have to go to the doctors, but it's even just to confide in someone
For sure.
to talk about it, to alleviate your concerns. Don't
No doubt.
Google. Don't
No, that's the
just
worst,
avoid
dude.
Google.
Oh,
You
yeah,
never
yeah.
Google your symptoms
Yeah. No.
because you'll just go
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole
Yeah.
and you're dying.
I feel like
Oh,
just
yeah.
the anxiety behind
Yes.
Googling your symptoms is much
Yeah,
worse.
both my parents admitted that they'd done the same, and I was like, guys, you don't need to worry. All right, I've talked to my doctor. The doctor said it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
crazy.
So-
And thankfully, also testicular cancer. If there is a cancer to get, it is one of the ones you kind of want to get because it's very easy
to take care of.
to manage, even if it's in a later stage.
Okay.
There's a lot of treatments for it out there now.
Well, that's great.
And it's
Crazy.
it's not generally, in most cases, it's not super malignant, so it's not gonna
Right.
attack the body
Yeah.
super aggressively unless it gets to its later stages.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
So, dudes out there, I
Yeah.
know you're playing with your nuts. If you're feeling something weird or you're feeling some pains,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
better to go to your doctor. Like
Just get it checked. Just get it checked out. It's costs. It's nothing.
For sure.
The trade off is unreal if it will save your life.
There you go.
And
Definitely.
I'm one of the lucky ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have any like side effects from being down to one testicle? Do you
Not that I'm aware of.
do you run faster? Do you?
I can cross
I'm
my
joking,
legs.
I'm joking,
I
I'm
can
joking.
cross my legs easier.
Oh, there you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. They offered me a prosthetic
Oh, yeah.
if I wanted it as
Yeah,
well. 100%. It's up to you if you want it or not. It provides no function other than
It's just
aesthetics.
aesthetics,
Yeah. And I decided against it
like-
because I thought it would just be weird having it there and you can feel it, but you can't feel it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's like a ghost nut.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I can see. where
Phantom
you're going.
limbs, it's phantom nuts.
Oh, man. Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be strange to be able to have it in there and not be able to feel it and not
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah,
That's-
but like for anyone who's curious, it doesn't look any different. The other testicle kind of just it shifts to the middle.
you got like a
and-
cyclops going on.
Yeah, and you just you unless you're like really looking, you don't notice any difference
Yeah, like
at all.
nobody's
It's-
looking that hard.
No,
that's awesome.
Like even
Yeah.
the chicks aren't looking that hard.
And you get married anyways, so
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. She's fine with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's all that counts.
So yeah, it's I've noticed no additional effects from that. I still have to get monitoring, so I got recommended that I should go and do 1 round. I haven't had any chemo,
Okay.
but they recommended to do 1 round because
Oh,
then it
crazy.
just kind of nukes your body
Yeah.
and make sure that
Make
it's
sure it's
not
it's
anywhere
not
else,
anywhere
or
else.
Full
It's-
reset, kind of.
yeah,
Crazy.
pretty much. So
are your
I
thoughts
still
on
need to
that?
get that. Oh, I don't know. I'm two minds about it. Although most people think you just get it done.
Mhm.
I don't like the idea of pumping my body with chemicals like
Yeah,
that.
no doubt.
But if it's going to potentially help in the long run, 1 round of the
Right.
body's probably is not going to do
No.
too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm talking with doctors now about when
Wow.
I'm going to get that done, and I'll have to have monitoring for at least the next year or so.
Yeah, the
as
monitoring
well.
process
Yeah.
is pretty intense after any type of cancer.
Oh,
I
yeah,
could only imagine. So-
exactly. So regular blood tests. Although I have been lazy about it. I have been waiting for my medical documents from the UK so I can give them to my doctor here. Otherwise, because I can't explain much about what's wrong with me. All I know is that I had testicular cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm not. You're not a doctor. It's like, what's going on? I'm not sure. Really,
My medical documents have been released, and so I can now give those to my doctor. I just haven't got around to doing that yet, which I probably should.
Like, that's so
But
wild.
story of my life.
I came across that post that you posted, and I was just like, my jaw hit the floor. And thank you so much for sharing with us.
No,
honestly,
it's-
Cole.
it's
It's
cool.
something that I felt like we had to talk about.
Yeah, I'm so happy because that's why I made the post as well, because I know before I got diagnosed, I was like, this is not something I would think that I would ever be talking about with someone.
no shit.
Because I think a lot of focus is definitely on other kinds of cancer as well. Especially with men, most people consider prostate to be
Right.
the biggest one, and that's
Right.
something that generally doesn't happen until you're an older stage in life, which is
Right,
why I
right.
think a lot of men as well don't want to get anything checked, because it's like, they don't want to feel that
That they're aging.
Yeah.
that aging and
Yeah,
things like
that's
that.
a
And
fair,
there's a
man,
lot
like-
of, I think, also just around talking about, I think anything to do with the sexual process or that about your body or other people's body. There's still
For sure.
stigma that it's not
Yeah.
a topic that you should be able to talk about openly.
Good point. Good point.
You know, especially I think with like how much stuff is kind of sexualized in the world these
Yeah,
days.
no
It
doubt.
still doesn't feel comfortable to talk about.
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't be talking about it. It should
never
be
really
something
thought of it
private
that
just
way,
for you and your
100%.
you know, but people need to be aware, and people need to know that it's okay to talk about that and to
Absolutely.
not be embarrassed by that. Because already just talking about this, I can feel just the
way.
the embarrassment.
Oh,
like,
really?
It's like it doesn't bother me, but I can feel like how it would have bothered me earlier in my life.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Wow.
like if I can feel it in my voice, it's just starting to shake a
Oh,
little bit.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah,
again, it's
it feels like, oh, I shouldn't be talking about this. You know.
and I think, is it just us being dudes? Like,
Yeah.
if you look at women, the way they discuss in
Yes.
Friends, like,
Yeah.
it's way more in depth and like emotionally driven conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas dudes, like, I'll come home from hanging out with my dude friends all the time, and that's like, what'd you talk about? Or like, oh, like football, like, I don't know.
shit.
It's kinda
You know,
like-
we
yeah,
just
like
chatted.
nothing
yeah,
really.
nothing
It's
really.
not
Yeah.
like-
And I think that is how men communicate with other men
Right,
most
yeah.
of the time
Yeah,
as
it's-
well.
Yeah, where you just kind of
Yeah.
sit around shooting the shit. Like most of the time, it's like nothing important at all.
Mostly it's
No.
like grunts and dick
Yeah,
jokes. but-
unless
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
maybe if it's a close friend, you might share some more intimate personal
Yeah.
details
Yeah.
with. But
Yeah.
as a general, most people wouldn't.
Yeah, we're just chilling with the
Yeah,
boys.
so-
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
that's something we need to change as men, is to kind of normalize that talk, and
No doubt.
Yeah, emotional topics.
you don't have to
Yeah.
grab your friend's nuts, but you can support him if he does have issues. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
100%.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that with
Yeah,
us.
no worries. Yeah,
that's wild. I
happy
think
to.
the other questions we had were about Tommy's Unplugged,
Yeah.
which we kind of
We already hit it all.
we
I
already
think
hit
you
it
kind of
all.
nailed it. What's next for you, Cole? Like, what you got? Shows coming up?
I do.
Anything in the future, exciting planned, music wise or otherwise?
Yep. So I'm playing for Banff Snow Days.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's
so
go.
I'm on this Friday at
Nice.
about 5 p.m.
Sweet.
And then I'm on again the following Friday
Oh, that'll be
at
fun.
5 p.m. So that was from winning Tommy's Unplugged, because it's Gary
cool.
and
Yeah.
Lynn, his
Oh,
wife,
right,
who are
right.
doing the event management for it.
That's sweet.
Nice.
And so part of the prize for winning was being able to get a spot for
Oh,
this
that's
as well,
sweet.
which was
Congrats.
really
That's
cool.
awesome.
Dude.
And actually, it's already started snowballing from there. From from my work, seeing the post, I got that work gig that I mentioned at the start of the
Oh,
pod.
right.
So I got that from it, because there's the guy who runs, who's the director for Banff Gondola at the moment, Paul Nolan. He saw the post and was like,
Sweet.
why don't we give him a shout out and see if he wants to do the gig, which was amazing.
Nice.
And also then from that getting the snow days, and I actually got a message from a friend today. It was yesterday, asking if I wanted to do a gig this weekend. Unfortunately, I am working, and I couldn't
shit.
get it covered.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. But the offer was there.
Sick.
And I've had other people make some offers like that, and I know there's a few people who are very interested for spring and summer.
For sure. I'm sure that
Awesome, dude.
industry just explodes in spring and summer
yes.
with outside venues with patios doing live sets. It's
Yeah,
just more of
exactly.
Big time.
a summer vibe, you know?
Yeah. So really looking forward to that.
Nice.
Obviously, I'm also in the future. We're getting married this year, so
Right,
that's
right.
going to be awesome. We're getting married in the Yukon, which is really
wild, dude.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
Congrats.
yeah.
Wow,
Just the
that's
two of
sick.
us, her sister
Let's go.
and my best man. Really small ceremony, and then we're coming back to Banff for our reception, which we're
Sweet.
hoping is going to be in the back room at the Elk.
Nice.
Which would be
That'd be a
which would be
blast.
ideal, or it's going to be at Pump and Tap.
Yeah, sick.
Nice. Let's go, dude. That's
Yeah, yeah,
in
some of
true
the-
Banff fashion right
Yeah.
there.
So we've actually got 3 different wedding receptions. So we're having one here in Banff right after the ceremony.
Right.
We've got one in September in the UK, and then another one in New Zealand for
God.
Christmas.
You got to party with the family, right?
Yes,
Like,
and
for
we-
Well, that's
sure.
not a bad little way to do it.
We
like, spread 'em
discovered that
out.
it was cheaper to do it this way than to get everybody to come to one big destination.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone's paying a
Smart.
whole lot of money. We're paying a whole lot of money.
That's
Especially
wild.
if it was here in Canada, Banff is so
Oh, yeah.
difficult
Oh, I
to
know.
to live in general, but
No,
also
sure.
to come as a tourist. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked
That's
out.
a
but we-
logistical nightmare. Just like
Yeah.
having everybody here at the same time and like trying to get
Exactly.
Well, if
everybody
you
at
look
a
at like
hotel. or
hotel
spread out
rooms
at-
alone,
Yeah,
like
100%. So it was
wild.
easier that we could do it, split it into 3, and then all our friends and family around the world can pick which ones they want to come to, and makes it just a whole lot easier for everybody.
that's
Smart.
a great way to do
That's
it.
smart,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
yeah, and so we get to, and then we also get to spend Christmas with the family in New Zealand
yeah, that'd be
too,
awesome.
and so yeah, it worked out really well. And if you go to all 3, you get a T-shirt, Wedding World Tour.
Oh my
I
god.
toured with the wedding.
Yeah.
Wedding world tour.
You've already got a few people who want to come to all 3 as well.
That's awesome.
But it's
man.
spread out throughout the year, which is nice as well, because then it gives us
Some time to save up.
Yeah.
some
in
time to
between.
save up for each one.
Damn, 3 vacations in a year.
Because
That's
it's
not
still,
cheap.
weddings are never cheap. Weddings are never cheap.
Never,
but
never.
thankfully, we've got a good support network and group of friends around the world and family
Yeah,
that are
that's awesome.
supporting us for it.
Let's go.
You know,
Well,
yeah.
congrats to
Yeah,
you.
congrats,
Congrats to Meg. And,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're super excited for the future. Hopefully, Canada gets to be home.
Yeah, we get to
Yeah.
see you gigging around town and
Yeah.
hanging out, you know?
Yeah,
It's
but I think
sick.
once we get to live here, once we get residency, we want to build tiny on a trailer
Yeah, cool.
and
Smart.
park
Around.
it somewhere in BC, and then
That's
maybe
sick.
every couple of years we can move it to somewhere else. Spend some time. Love to spend some time living on the East Coast.
For sure.
Yeah,
East Coast is quiet.
awesome,
It's
yeah.
very
Yeah.
inexpensive to live, especially now with people kind of trying to make their money outside of traditional work streams, which I think will be more and more possible
Yes,
throughout the years. you know?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Living on the road is not looking so bad after all.
No.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and we're talking at least like 21, probably like 18 to 21 feet.
Yeah.
And
Sick.
we want a shower. We want an
Yeah.
oven. We want
I
we want a
know,
washing
yeah.
machine and a drawer. We want full amenities from
it's
it.
like
yeah,
you need
it's
to
our
be,
home.
You need to
yeah,
be fucking comfortable. Like
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
gotta live there, man. Like it's
yeah. We've done the van living and we love it to bits. But
yeah.
But
I think
at
it's still
some
a young
stage
man's
you want
game though. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, crawling in and out of small, like I don't know. As you're getting older, I don't want to be crawling in and out of say the back of a van.
you want to have your own.
to
You want to have your own space. You know,
Yeah,
you want to be able
yeah.
to put your clothes away
Yeah,
in
no
some
doubt.
drawers, and you want to be able to go and sit in your living room and
coffee
have
or
a
whatever,
coffee and
yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah,
spread
exactly.
out. You know, if you want to sleep on the couch, you can sleep on your couch.
Yeah.
You know, you
Or
You-
play
you
guitar,
have a
have
couch.
breakfast, and
Yeah.
have fun at the same time.
exactly,
There you go.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff, Cole. Thank you so much. Let's move to some posts. We got
Cool.
some posts
Yeah,
this week. I
let's
don't know if you ever
go.
tuned in. Part of our show is our favorite posts of the week. A few things we touched on earlier. We start with ski ring, I think. Oh, yes.
Yeah, buddy.
The ski ring. So this one reads, sometimes things are happening and you miss the memo. So, you know, a truly crazy, dangerous, and impressive spectacle, to say the least. Put on by some very legitimate Albertans. Yeehaw. Cheers for the local boys, Adam, Carter, Mac, plus a nice throwback to the Ped Zone times. Yeah, I mean, having Banff F closed in the winter for an event's kind of
Not-
cool.
Oh, it was great. I was very disappointed to come back to Banff and see that they'd removed the pedestrian zone.
Oh yeah, you missed all that.
I loved that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
fair
know it was a
enough.
very controversial decision
Oh,
for a
yeah.
lot of people.
We-
Divided the town.
Oh god, it was.
We
wild.
covered it extensively.
I bet you guys did.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No,
I don't want
fair
to talk
enough.
about it anymore.
Yeah. The town will be divided again.
Oh god.
It was pretty wild times. But skisering, holy
Yeah.
crap! What a crowd did it bring?
Amazing. Yeah.
I served guests like all the way from Saskatchewan, of course, all
Wow.
the prairie.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
all the
they
prairie
were
provinces.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
there's
loving
people
skisering.
from Texas and
Yeah.
Montana and
Oh,
all over the
dude,
states.
it was
yeah,
wild,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
There's-
so I guess the skisering show
Oh,
itself
it's huge.
is part of like a traveling circuit. Like they take this
Oh,
show
okay.
Oh,
other
okay.
places around
I
Alberta,
see.
and I think probably Montana and the U.S. too. So some of the athletes, some of the horses, I guess, travel with them. So you'd have people from all over the world. They do like a fashion show too, so that's why you saw all those fur coats and everyone kind of dressing
yeah,
up.
okay.
I guess they have prizes and you get to walk the red carpet and stuff. So very, very cool, family friendly event if you're ever out. I actually got the chance to go check it out as a spectator a few years ago. We had some family visiting
That's
and we got
wild.
to go
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it. The only thing I would say, the downside is just you have to get there real early.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
it's like it's
so quick.
packed.
It was packed like 3 hours
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, if you get a spot on the bleachers, you're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Or like in one of the restaurants. I think the
Like
year that we
Rosen?
went, it was on the 100
oh,
block.
yeah.
So I could see the boys across at Tommy's, like up on the roof and stuff
Right,
with the
yeah.
balcony.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
that's a little gangster, but yeah, super cool event. Which brings us to our next post. Banff was absolutely packed. Yeah, it was a sick time. I
Yeah,
think.
it was so busy.
Oh yeah, look at this. Lots of cowboys and even horses on the sidewalk in front of Rundle Church. I was like, yeah, no doubt. Hey, like it was wild out there. I wonder how many people they actually had in town, but there was a hockey day in Canada going on in Canmore as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which was
yeah.
sick. 'Cause these bad boys flying over two F-18s. That would have been
F-18s,
sick.
I was
Oh,
gonna say, I
wow,
missed it.
that's cool.
I must
Yeah.
have been at work in the restaurant and just missed it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been sick to catch, man. Those things are wild. So I guess they did it at like 1 p.m. Oh, somebody got a wicked shot. Yeah, check this
Oh
out.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
next one
that's
over.
awesome.
For those that don't know, the festivities that were going on in Canmore was part of the Hockey Day in Canada. We
Yeah.
kind of announced it last week. Huge events,
Oh, it's
luncheons,
wild.
concerts, all types of stuff, like nationally televised on CBC, TSN. My buddy Burnsy, big shout out to Burnsy. He was there with his kids and like tons of kid friendly
Oh,
stuff,
sick.
outside events, indoor events. So yeah, next year, if you missed it this year, check it out. I'm pretty sure
I
it's
think they
not
do
the
it every
first
year.
time they've had it in Canmore. It's just such an iconic Canadian location.
I think they do it there. Do they do it every year?
I'm not sure if it's every year, but anyways, finally back to some Overheard action.
Oh yeah.
Back to some quality Overheard. This is how to flirt in Banff. It says this is someone texting someone else. It goes, "Hey, halfway through this gram of coke, realize you're beautiful and I'm deeply in love with you."
Oh man, that's like the Banff booty call right there.
It is indeed.
Oh
And then
my
the
God.
next one was one of the replies on this exact thing, which was awesome. And it was just a GIF, some guy going, "I'm a big fan of romance."
Oh, it's great.
So yeah, a classic Banff romance playing out via text, probably around, let's say 3 in the morning, 2:45.
Yeah,
That
three-
sounds
yeah,
pretty
three.
standard.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oof. What
You
the
want to
hell
read us
happened
through
here?
this next one, Matt? Can you
I can't even read that.
Okay,
I'm so
I
tired.
got it pulled up here. So this is a post, obviously not a cool one. We try to do some good ones and then some not good
Oh,
ones.
so yeah, somebody like ripped their side view mirror right off. there.
Yeah, dude, this
Oh.
is the classic. Like, okay, this one reads,
Oh, that's like right off. It's just wires hanging out.
"Yo, one is dangling and one is like fully."
Oh, they
gone."
got both
I'm
of
sorry
them?
for laughing.
Oh,
Yeah, both
shit,
of them.
that sucks.
I would just like to know why and if the person who did this can step forward to avoid charges. This happened on Beaver Street last night to my car between
Wild.
10 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. across the street from the community high school. So there is likely footage of this taking place. Wah,
Crazy.
wah. I thought this was accidental hit and run on my driver's side, but no, my
Yeah, no
driver's
doubt.
side was nearly taken off and my passenger side is completely gone. It seems like someone
How-
maliciously vandalized my car for no apparent reason. If
You'd have
anyone
to
has
be-
information to comment on the post.
You'd have to be absolutely reefing on that thing to rip it right off.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
It's like a boots,
Yeah, there's like a- there's like a-
Spartan kick.
there's like a whole wiring harness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you
crazy.
Just, oh, that's
so
crazy,
poor
dude.
person. Whoever posted this, my heart goes out to you. Never fun being the victim of senseless vandalization
No,
on behalf of drunk
Not
people.
cool.
Oh, this is what you were
Fan up
talking
for-
about earlier. I
Yeah,
see.
dude, this is gonna affect a lot of people, bro.
So it says January's rare planet parade will have these 3 signs feeling extra lucky. So Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn will align in the sky on January 21st, resulting in both astronomical and astrological significance in the cosmos.
That's today, bro.
Which
That's
signs?
today. I don't know. I didn't. This is just kind of the headline because it had all of them. So Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn all
Wow.
aligned. If you flip to the next slide, it has a cool little graph of where they're all kind of going to be in the sky. If you're into astrology, if you're into anything like that, this is huge. It doesn't happen. I think it happens. What does it say? 6 planets have now aligned in the sky, beginning a 2-month-long grand alignment of the planets. Soon it will turn to a 7th planet, which is today, when Mercury joins the lineup. So they're going to be kind of lined up for 2 months. If you're out on a clear night, you'll actually be able to spot a lot of these.
That's cool, man.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Wicked.
Nice.
If you like auroras and stuff, which I know I do. Like I think planets are pretty cool.
Yeah,
man.
I've got a stargazing
Nice.
app. When you tie it up to the night sky, it'll tell you what.
I like getting a little
That's-
Yeah.
spaced out. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's good.
That's-
It's good fun, especially in a place where you can get some pretty good night skies.
Oh, hell
Big
yeah.
time.
It's awesome out here.
Yeah.
Well, this next one looks like somebody lost a snowboard out of the back of the
No.
truck this morning. This was probably from a couple days ago.
Yeah, a
but,
few days ago.
It's a blue and black LibTech Mayhem board with red and gray Nitro Pro bindings. If anyone has seen it or picked up, any information would be much appreciated. And they're willing to give you a little reward there if you find it. So that
Oh,
sucks. Probably just like,
I bet you the tailgate flap down.
Yeah.
That would be that would be the way. Tailgate flap and then you're gone.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to include this because it's actually happened to me one time back in the day. I think we were in like grade 10 or something. Me and my boys back home. We used to skate. We used to snowboard. We were all loading up in my buddy Graham's car to go to the ski hill. Graham had a purple Ford Escort GT. It was wild.
oh, yeah.
But it didn't have a roof rack on it. It only had the roof bars to put a roof rack on.
Right.
But nothing was going to stop us from going snowboarding that day. So we took our boards and we put them on the roof racks, but we tied them together with like string
Oh, my God.
and like
just like jerry
bungee
rigged
cords. Yeah, I
Nice.
think there was a bike lock involved in the thing. So we make
That's
it to the
awesome.
ski hill. We ride, no problem. We had it set up a little bit differently. On the way back, we set it up like a little bit too much towards the front of the car. So as we're driving away, we can see the boards lifting, right? And it's
Wow.
pulling on the
Yeah.
rig. And then all of a sudden, we're like, no, we're good. Or just pull off the next exit. We're looking up through the sunroof, and then all of a sudden, whew, they're gone on the highway.
Oh, no.
So like 5 boards all tangled up with a roof rack because it peeled the roof rack or the 2
Right.
bars right off the car. So the
That's
first
fucking
car
sweet.
goes, misses it. Second car, same thing. Then a big truck comes, smashes them.
Whoa.
Like 2 of them went across the highway, 2 of them were stuck underneath. And then that car pulls over. We went and gathered all the boards and stuff and like pulled them out from underneath this big ass
That's
truck.
wild.
And then the person driving the car is like, or the truck is looking under their truck, seeing if there's any damage,
Mhm.
right? And there was like something hanging. And they're like, oh, there's something hanging. Like, we're gonna have to call the police. Like, my vehicle is damaged. Da da da. And I look under. I'm like, actually, that's one of our straps. Like, it was one of our bungee
Oh,
cords.
right.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up like loading them back in the car and then getting out of there. It was a story.
Well, that was a good
That's
escape.
Dude, we got
could have been a little
out of
worse.
there,
Yeah.
Oh, the next post here. This one's someone again, classic calling out bad parking.
Oh God, yeah.
This has
It's
kinda been-
what a Chevy. Yeah.
So there's 2 this week that were directed at specific businesses. This one here reads, always a delight seeing Standish trucks obstructing the handicap parking. And you can't see it in the picture, but this is why I wanted to include this one, because obviously the person who parked there comes across with a very nice apology and says, this is totally our fault. Our team was doing traffic management there for the event, which was the ski ring, of course. I made the mistake and we put the unit there, planned on moving it into position for lane intrusion on Banff Ave. We are sorry. We are not above anything. We do apologize. Our fault. So that's pretty awesome.
That's a pretty
let's go.
respectful response.
Very respectable
Yeah.
response. People make mistakes out there, guys. Another one that we didn't include was the Banff plumbing one. So someone posted a Banff plumbing van parked just across the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yo, Banff plumbers, they deal with emergencies. Like,
yeah, like pipe
Yeah.
burst or something.
Yeah,
like, who knows,
like,
man? Like,
if that was your house and you're having an emergency, you'd be pretty happy that he parked as close as he could to get his tools there.
No
You know what I'm
doubt.
saying? So
Yeah.
I think especially when you're talking about local businesses, Standish Towing, the plumbers, we support them, man. They keep the town running. They
Yeah,
keep the
hell yeah.
100%.
They literally keep the shit flowing
Oh,
in the town
man,
of Banff.
like,
You know what I'm saying?
Those guys are just like with the restaurants alone, man, are busy.
Yeah.
all the
So cut them some
time.
slack.
Yeah,
Don't
like,
be blowing up on the internet. Who cares, man?
Yeah, it's just a little parking, dude.
Yeah. And again, the apology, super respectable.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's awesome.
And that's all we got for you this week.
No doubt. That's
Thank
it.
you
eh?
so much, Cole, for
Cool.
coming in,
Yeah,
sharing
no
your story
worries.
with us,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Great catching
That was
up.
awesome.
It's been
Yeah,
so long. I can't believe
yeah.
we talked on this in the stairways on the way up. Like, I've been almost 4 years since we've seen each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some
That's
crazy things.
crazy,
We
man.
were living together at like probably the darkest end of my like drug and alcohol use.
Oh.
So I
I'm
was
just
like,
at the beginning of mine.
well, I hope we didn't kick you off on the wrong foot.
No,
John,
no.
we used to live in a madhouse, man.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
yeah, it was very, it was a wild time. Yeah, but it was amazing because again, no, it was my ticket into town,
For sure.
and it opened
sweet.
a lot of doors.
It did. It did.
Like, yeah, it really
Oh,
did.
God.
Big shout out to Dave if you're out there
Yeah,
listening, man. Holy
100%.
fuck, did we have fun in that house?
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you've made it this far, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. Helps us bring you more episodes like this.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Make sure you go give Cole a like. It's Cole's Live Music.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Nice.
So go give him a like, go give him a follow. We're gonna hopefully see some original recordings coming out soon.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
get
the
that
goal.
Spotify
That's the goal
popping,
for this
so
year is
let's
to
go.
record my one original that I'm okay with.
That's it. That's it. Hey man, progress doesn't have to be a fast process. as
No,
long
it
as you're
doesn't.
moving
Everyone, you got to
forward,
start
right? So,
somewhere. Yeah.
thanks again, everyone, for tuning
Cool.
in. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Cole.
All
Like
good.
every week.
Happy to be here.
See you next Tuesday.